So hello students and welcome back to Mehta PG College online study portal. And today in this video, this is the lecture second of our series recorded for BSc first year physics, paper second electromagnetism, unit first, and for the chapter second, which is the electric potential and electric energy or field of moving charges. So before starting the video, I politely request you to all the students who are watching this video that please subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon so that we can give you future reference and such kind of videos in future. And also, if you learn something new from these videos, then please consider to give a thumbs up to encourage us to providing you a better content again and again, and for the betterment of the institute and its fellows. Also, you can share this video with your friends and consider supporting us, and thank you very much for all the students who already subscribed to this channel. Thank you, and thank you very much for your love and support. So let's begin with the topic, and today in this video we will discuss the amount of energy which is required to build a uniformly charged spherical shell. So let's consider how will you build a uniformly charged sphere and how much amount of energy do you need to build such kind of sphere. So let's begin with the topic here. Energy required to build, sorry, not only build but to build a uniformly charged sphere. Okay. So we are supposed to talk about to build a uniformly charged sphere. First of all, let me understand what is a uniformly charged sphere. What do we mean by uniformly charged sphere? Well, if you know that the charge distribution all over a surface is always continuous and uniform at each and every point. For example, you can consider this board as a conducting space, as a conducting surface, then you will get to know yourself that the charge, when the potential is applied on one end of this particular board here, which is a conducting surface, then charge will be separated continuously and uniformly. Yes, a new term introduced here, which is the continuity or uniformity. Yes, this is what it is. The continuity of charge distribution or the uniformity of charge distribution, both of them has same meaning as a same sequence here. And if you get to know one more example here, again we will use the same example as our water jug as an example. If you consider yourself, then when you are filling water into a vessel, then you will know yourself that the water is filling in a particular shape, like this, from this to this. It means that the water is being filled up or the water is being poured up in a particular continuous shape. Yes, the water should follow a continuous or uniformity within the vessel, and then it will be filled up in the manner. Okay, so this is what it is. So the same thing will happen with the charge here. When you will talk about building when you talk about the continuity is a term related to a surface. Yes, there is two terms which if these two terms are different, then the thing means that these both of the terms will have different meanings also. The continuity belongs to a surface and uniformity belongs to volume in a sense. Okay, so this is what it is. When you spread water on a floor, then you will notice yourself that the water is separated continuously all over the surface, but when you are filling up a vessel or a volume, then you will get to know that the water is filled up uniformly within the volume. This is the example here. Let's say this is a vessel, for example, yes, this is a vessel, and yes, this is a vessel. When we fill water, we will continue that the water is filled uniformly within the volume. Yes, the water is filled uniformly within the volume. There is nothing, none of that kind of a case that if the water is filled up in this manner or maybe in that manner. No. Note that the green marks here is not being followed, but only the black dots here showing you the uniformity here. So this is what the meaning of continuity and the uniformity here. Well, this is something to understand. We do not need it far more here, but we will talk about building a continuous sphere. Yes, continuously charged sphere. So let's draw a sphere here. Let's say this is a spherical shell. Well, this is not a shell, but it is a sphere, because every time when you consider something as a shell, then you will say that well, this is not looking as a sphere at all. I will try to draw a good looking sphere here. Let's see. This is not so good looking, but this is a sphere at all. This is a sphere to be considering. Consider this shape as a sphere. Yes, this is a sphere, and consider that the whole sphere is built up of small units of different thickness. Say that let's say this is the center point O, and it is built up of small spherical shells, again small and smaller than the previous one. And this is how the whole sphere is made up, saying that if there is a football, then a cricket ball, and then a tennis ball, and this in this manner. Okay, so this is what it is. So consider this. This is a whole sphere here, and the whole sphere is charged. Yes, the charge should be distributed symmetrically here, or the uniformly, the exact word which we are using within the definition or within the term. Okay. Well, every time when you consider the formation of charge or the distribution of charge, you are supposed to consider the positive charge in a sense. The positive charge doesn't has any more vast meanings, but we use this positive charge only to reduce the complications, because we do not want to go through the complication for the negative signs in such a way. Okay. So this is it. Okay, so this is the sphere, and we have a sphere of radius capital R here. Yes, let's say this is the sphere of radius capital R. Capital R is the radius of the whole sphere, and we consider a small spherical shell inside which is of radius small r here, and the whole charge within the sphere, let's say the whole charge is capital Q. So this is the whole charge distributed within the volume of the sphere. Okay. Well, sorry, because the sphere is not so good looking, but it is something to consider. Okay. So this is it. If you remember the concept of charge densities, the charge density, here we are talking about volume only. Yes, we will consider the volume here. So we will consider only the volume charge density here. Okay. Now the volume charge density for a sphere of radius capital R and total charge capital Q as well. So what should be the value of volume charge density? Let's say it is represented by rho here. So the rho must be equals to Q. Let's say this is the charge upon volume. So the whole charge distributed is this, the capital Q, and radius has been said to be, this capital R is the radius. So considering this R, the volume of sphere must be 4 by 3 pi R cube. So this is it. Well, this must be equals to this, and this can be written as 3 cube over 4 pi R square, and this is equation 1. Okay, so we have find out the volume charge density here. Yes, this is the volume charge density for this spherical shell. This is the volume charge density rho. Let's say this is equation 1. Now to build a uniform charge sphere, we can imagine, let's say this is the whole sphere. Let's imagine the sphere is built up of small, or another word you can use, which is the tiny, the small spherical concentric units. Yes, this word should be used properly because we are talking about the concentric units. Concentric means all the spheres that you considered must have only a single center. It means that first of all it is the smallest sphere, then the biggest one, and then the biggest one, and then the whole volume. Okay, so this is what we are what I am trying to say and what I am trying to represent to you. So we have the concentric units of radius, you say small r, and charge in some sense you say small q. Then the value of small q will be, thus q will be charge density into volume. Yes, this will be equals to charge density into the volume. So the charge density rho is here. Well, this is for the whole sphere, but we are talking about only the smallest spherical shell. So we will say this is rho into the volume, you say which is the 4 by 3 pi r cube. Yes, 4 by 3 pi small r cube. This should be value here. Okay, this is the total charge. We have got the total charge here. Now we will talk about what we need. We need the energy required. So energy, in sense it says the potential energy. We will try to get the potential energy here. So you remember the potential. Now the potential. Now by the definition of potential, yes. Now by the definition of potential, and we will apply the definition of potential on those spherical shells, on those spherical units, not the shells, because shell means something which is hollow inside, but it is not hollow inside. It is a sphere which is not hollow, but it is filled up with the material with which it is made up of. Okay, so this is it. The definition of potential, the V should be equals to kq over r square. Yes, this should be the value of potential here. V should be equals to this. So we will use the value of q here, and then we will end up having in V is equals to k as it is over r square again as it is. And what do we have? We have 4 by 3 pi r square into r, we can say, so that we can cut it easily here. So V is equals to 4 by 3 k pi r. So this should be the value of, so this should be the value of potential here. Okay, so this is the value of potential. Well, another thing that left is the rho. Yes, rho should be considered here. Sorry. So this is what the value of potential by now. Okay, so we got the value of potential here. This should be the not r square but r only, something that mistaken, sorry. This is r here. So r square will left here, okay. So this is what the value of potential here, and in MKS system you know the value of K is equals to, where K is a proportionality constant, and the value of K is equals to 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton meter square upon Coulomb square. So this is the value of K here. Yes, this is the Newton meter square upon Coulomb square. Okay, so now we need a value of charge here. We will introduce new value here, saying that adding charge dq, this is the spherical shell we are going to consider by now. Adding the charge dq to a spherical shell of radius dr and thickness of radius r and thickness dr, sorry, of radius r and thickness dr. Then this is the main important line which is supposed to be written by you. Well, so the value of charge dq will be equals to rho 4 pi r square dr. 4 pi r square dr. Also something that is considered is the rho, because we are talking about only this particular volume, only this volume here. This is the volume for which we are talking about right now. Okay. So this is the volume here. So this is it. We are talking about this particular volume only with this equation. This is the charge for this particular value which having the radius r and thickness dr. Okay. So now we need the potential energy to build up this spherical shell. So now the potential energy required you see, which is du, and du will be equals to v dq. Yes, this will be equals to v dq. Also we have the value for v here and the value of dq here. We got all these two values, and now we will substitute these values to this particular equation. Let's say this is v here and this is dq here. We will use both of these values, and before going further, let me be aside and you can take a screenshot for your reference, and then we will proceed further. Okay, so hope that you are done with the screenshot here. I will not gonna erase this circle because we need it again, but we will erase this particular value here. Okay. So what do we have right now? We will substitute the values from this equation and this equation to this equation. So what should be the value of du by now? This will be equals to 4 by 3 k pi r square rho into rho 4 pi r square dr. Okay, so what should be this value will equals to? This is equals to 16 pi square r power 4 over 3 rho square dr. This is the value of du. I mean the potential energy required to build this shell only. This is the inner shell, and for this shell only this is du. Well, by now we need the whole energy. Well, something that remains here is the K here. We forget something, K also. So this is the amount of energy to build a literal spherical shell. So the whole amount of energy is been given by summing up all these small values. And in simple terms, for the infinitesimal small volume, let's say if this component is infinitesimal, then we can simply replace the summation sign with the integration sign. So now we will integrate this equation. Okay. So now let's integrate. So the total energy. So the total energy required is given by integrating above equation. So let's integrate it. U is equals to integration of du. So now let's integrate here. This should be integrated in terms of dr here. Okay. So 16 pi square over 3 or k. These are the things which are constant. So I can put them out of the constant here. Here some things are constant here which are here you say this is equals to the integration of v dq in a sense, which is 0 to q, but we will integrate in terms of du only. So what we will have, r has to be value 0 to capital R here. So this is it, 16 upon 3 pi square r power 4 rho square k dr. Okay, so now we are subjected to solve this, and for solving this we need some workspace. So let me clear this off. Okay. So let's do it. U is equals to, which are the constant values? Let's say 16 upon 3 is a constant, pi square is again a constant, rho square is a constant, and k is a constant. So the only thing remains is r power 4 dr, integration value is 0 to capital R. This is u, sorry. Okay, so now what should be the value of u here? Let's say these are the constant, that doesn't matter. This is r raised to power 5 upon 5, 0 to capital R. So what we will end up having? We will end up having this value. Okay, so this is it. Otherwise for 0 there is no value exist. So this is what the amount of potential energy which is required here. Well, this is the solution for the particular equation. Let's say 3 into 5, again you can say let's use this here. 16 upon 15 into r raised to power 5. So this is the solution here. But we have something remains here, which is the rho square. So we will use the value of rho again. From the first equation we have said the charge density, this is the volume charge density rho here. So we will put the value of rho, and then we will have the exact amount which we need to build up the charge sphere here. Okay, so u here equals to 16 over 15 pi square k r square. But what should be the value of rho here? The value is capital Q, well 4 pi r cube, and this whole thing should be square. Okay. So what we will have again, let's say this is 16 over 15 pi square k r raised to power 5 here, and this is 9 capital Q square 16 pi square r raised to power 6, and in sense let's say this is r raised to power 5 into r. So this has been cancelled in this sense. 16 is again cancelled, pi square is again cancelled out, and something else which is saying the 3 raised to power 5 or 3 into 3. This is what remains is, so we will have a new value here saying the potential energy U. So what is the value of potential energy U by now? So now we will have U equals to, and here we need some more workspace here. So you can take a screenshot, then I will proceed here. Hope that you are done here. So let's say the new values. Okay. So what values we have? We will have U is equals to K 3K Q square upon 5 R. Okay, so these are the remainings which we have here. Okay, and the energy should be written in joules. Okay, so this is the amount of potential energy. Yes, this is the potential energy, but we need the whole energy in terms of work done and in terms of potential also. So let's say V is equals to KQ over R again. Okay. So let's find out what we have. We say that also the total amount of potential will be equals to KQ over R for this whole spherical shell, but the potential we discussed earlier was only the spherical segment, but this is for the whole sphere here, which is the KQ over capital R, and the work done in bringing additional charge dQ from infinity, also the work done again in bringing a charge dQ from infinity to the sphere. Let's say this is dW, which is equals to V dQ. Yes, this must be equals to this, and du dash. Now increase in electrostatic energy of the sphere. So this is the total energy here. Well, we need to, you can end up here. This is here, we got our one answer. But what if another charge is to be come up to this spherical shell? Because if a charged spherical shell is put into our environment in some sort of open environment, then in open environment many of the gaseous molecules or many of the charged molecules will discharge on this particular spherical shell. So let's find out what should be the change in potential energy occurs when there is some sort of discharging like this, what we have discussed here. So I am going to clear this off because we do not need it any longer. Well, these things are easier to understand only if you keep on practicing these, but if you left one lecture, then it will be complicated for you. So again, this is the series for the lecture second, so it means that the lecture first has been recorded, so you please go and check out the lecture first for this particular chapter series, in which we will talk about the electricity and magnetism, the fields of moving charges here. Okay. So this is the dW, and when we bring another charge dQ on this spherical shell, let's say there is any charge dQ and we bring that charge to this, in some sort of senses say that some kind of gas discharge over this spherical shell, over this charged spherical shell. So what should be the change in the energy? So this is the proper energy we need to build a uniformly charged sphere, but you know that in environmental disorders, in some kind of laboratory disorders, the thing can happen is that some sort of complications in some sort of, we need some kind of more energy, and in sense we can have a lesser energy. So let's find out what should be the change in the energy by now. So the increase in electrostatic energy of the sphere. So the increase in electrostatic energy of the sphere. So the energy is increased in terms of set, you say, this is the du dash is the change, and it has been written saying that kq over r into dq, kq over r into dq when another charge is bring into action. Now we will integrate this equation again. Integrating above equation. So we will have charge limits. Let's say the charge limit will go from 0 to capital Q. Again, u dash is equals to integration of du dash, and this will be integration of from 0 to capital Q the total charge, kq over r into dq. So the thing constant is the k over r is the constant, remaining is the q square over 2, the limits again from 0 to capital Q. So the thing remaining is here, the u dash will be equals to kq square over 2r. So this is the change in internal energy, the internal electrostatic energy by now when you bring another charge dq from infinity to a particular point on this spherical shell. So that should be the change. It's to be taken into consideration. Okay, so you will end up having this kind of result. So the ratio of necessary energy to charge a conducting sphere of radius r. So what should be the, so this is the charge, this is for the uniform charge. So this is the initial energy here, which is the required energy, exact energy, and this is the change in energy by now, and this is again has the units of joules. So the ratio of the proper energy which is required to build the sphere plus the change in energy. So what should be the ratio here? Ratio of u over u dash, sorry, u dash over u. So the values, let's say this is the k capital Q square over 2r upon 3kq square, 3kq square over 5r. R has been cancelled by r, kq square has been cancelled by kq square. So the thing remaining is, that is, yes, 1 by 2 into 5 by 3, which you say is the 5 by 6. This is the 5 by 6. So this is the ratio here. Well, this is not supposed to be calculated. The thing you are supposed to be calculated only is here. You are, if you leave it here, then it will be correct. You will be given full marks for this question, which are supposed to be. And if you come up with this results, then it can give you an advantage, like that advantage of saying the half of mark in sort of 1 marks only. Okay. So this is the ratio of the total exact internal energy and the increase in energy. So you will have to get only this value, and maybe you can have this value, and if you had this value here, so you can go through that value. Okay. So let me be aside, you can take a screenshot for your reference, and then we will proceed for a new topic, which is the most important topic and about 1 or about half mark, and always been asked in such kind of examination, saying the university examination as well as in your college unit tests. Okay. So I think I can clear this off, and then we will proceed again. You know that this spherical shell is pretty much similar to the shape of nucleus. Yes, it is pretty much similar. because every time when we talk about atom and its constituent particles, we got a shape in our mind which is the spherical shape, just because in spherical shape we got a symmetry of charge separation. Okay, that's why we always consider these shapes in spherical. So we are supposed to calculate the classical radius of electron. Okay, so what should be the classical radius of the classical radius of electron. Okay, this is pretty much similar to the thing that we have calculated earlier, or we have talked earlier, which is the spherical shell here. So let's find out the classical radius of electron. Every time when you talk about atom and its constituent particles, you consider a spherical shape. Okay, this is again not spherical, but you consider yourself. Let me try to draw a better figure here, and whenever I will try to draw a better figure, it will never be better. Let's say this is a spherical shell, but this should be considered as electron for a reference, and every time electron has some sort of center, every circle, and then again has a radius here. So we are supposed to calculate what should be the value of classical radius of electron. So let's start here. But every time you know something that when you go to find out the classical radius of such kind of tiny particles, then it is pretty much impossible to measure with a scale having. If you have a scale, then you cannot measure the radius of these kind of tiny particles. So we have to go through some sort of mathematical expressions that will lead us to know expectation value, some sort of like as the expected value, that it could be that much or it could be that much only. So let's find out what the values we get from our calculus here. Okay. First of all, we will talk about the potential energy. Yes, the potential energy associated with the electron. Yes, the potential energy. It is represented by U, and this is equals to 3/5 Ke square over R. We have discussed it in the case of spherical shell, the previous topic here, the recent topic, and we will use this result also in here. So this is the value here. Also from Einstein's, this is equation 1. Also from Einstein's mass energy relation. Also from the Einstein's mass energy relation, you say U is equals to mc square. This is equation 2. Well, you have seen something like that, E is equals to mc square. So the total energy is equals to the product of mass and the velocity of light. It was said to be for the photons and particles like photons. Electron is also a tiny particle as that of photons, so that's why it could be considered for electron also. Okay. Well, this is a universal truth, but the most amazing thing about the Einstein's equations we will talk later. Okay. So let's say here this is equals to this. So comparing equation 1 and 2. Comparing equations 1 and 2, we will have this mc square is equals to 3/5 Ke square over R. Okay. So the things that you know, the values which are calculated here, the values which have constant values which are here, the mass of electron, yes, we know the mass of electron. Also the velocity of light, yes, we know the velocity of light very well. Also the value of constant K also known, and the charge value. the electron charge value, which is the 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, is also known. Okay. So let's say the values we have here, we are supposed to calculate R by now. So R will be equals to, this is R here, let's say this is equals to 3 over 5 Ke square over mc square. Yes, this should be the value for R here, and we know the values for, let's say, the value of K here. You remember that K is equals to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, and this is equals to 9 into 10 to the power 9, and units, let's say this is the Newton meter square coulomb square. Well, this is not so needed, the Newton meter square or coulomb square, because you know that radius has only a single unit saying only the meters here. We will map this one in meters. Okay, so this is the value of K. Also the value of E here is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Okay, the value of M here, the mass of electron, which is equals to 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. Yes, 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. The thing remains is the velocity of light, and you know very well this is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second. These are the values. We will use all these values to this equation, and we will have the value of R, and R will be equals to, sorry, R will be equals to 3 into 9 into 10 to the power 9 here, okay, into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19, okay, over, well, this is square, sorry, over 5 into m 9.1 10 to the power minus 31 into 3 into 10 to the power 8 square. This will be in meters. By solving all these calculations, if you solve all these calculations, you will have the exact value saying is 1.69 into 10 to the power minus 15 meter. 1.69 into 10 to the power minus 13 meter, minus 15 meter, or in short you can say this would be 1.69 Fermi. Okay, so this is 1.69 Fermi, and it is the classical radius of electron. But every time you are supposed to come up with the result in sense of meters only, so you should consider this result. I hope that you can calculate this result yourself. Well, this is pretty much easier for you by now. And before starting this, let me talk about one thing that is we have talked earlier. Let's we say that I said that we will talk about one most interesting fact about the Einstein's equation. This is the Einstein's mass energy relation. So what is the main fact about the Einstein's mass energy relation? That this particular equation is used widely all over the results which are subjected to be calculated using this relation, and this relation is always proved as satisfactory results because the results are pretty much more accurate within this equation. But the thing is that this equation has no mathematical proof. Yes, this is the famous Einstein's mass energy relation, but this relation has no mathematical proof to itself. It is something that when Einstein discovers this equation, he said that he knows it, that's it only. He said that he knows it, but it doesn't know that if it is true or if it is has any kind of mathematical expressions here. Well, I am not wasting your time, sorry if I am wasted there. Let me be aside, you can take a screenshot for your reference and then we will proceed further. Hope that you are done with the screenshot. So let's find out, saying that we will go for a next topic, which is the topic related to the electric dipole here. So let's find out what is the amazing thing we missed out by now. So before starting, let me clear this off and then we will proceed further. So then we will proceed only. We are subjected to calculate the electric potential or the electric field intensity, sorry, not or but and, the electric potential and the electric field intensity are due to an electric dipole. Well, this is most important topic of physics. First of all, let's say the electric potential and electric field intensity due to a short electric dipole. Okay, so this is it. So let's find out here. Well, I will not give you the brief introduction of something like that. What is an electric dipole and what is the dipole moment? You know the things pretty much well. The thing, what is an electric dipole? Electric dipole is simply a charge separation. Yes, it is only a charge separation of equal and opposite charges, or equal and opposite charges. Let's say any distance, you say d in terms of physics. Two equal and opposite charges are separated by a distance, then the system is called an electric dipole. This is enough for us to know. And something which is said, you said, is the dipole moment is a term. The thing remaining is the dipole moment. Well, dipole moment, you remember, is the product of magnitude of the charges and the distance between them. This is the dipole. Well, this is a vector quantity because the distance is also considered as a vector quantity because distance has a direction. Okay, that's it. So these are the two things to keep in mind, and we will start with the example and with the question which we are supposed to calculate. Well, we have some examples of electric dipoles saying that the HCl, HBr, HI. Yes, we have some examples saying the HCl, HBr, HI, and CO, H2O, H2O, NH3, SO2. Well, these are the compounds in which a symmetrical charge distribution has been seen. Because all of these compounds doesn't have any kind of positive or negative charge upon them, so that's why these could be considered as equal and opposite charge separation here. Yes, these are the equal and opposite charge separation, saying this is the plus q here, and so this is against the minus q here. So these, all of these charges has a proper charge separation with not the positive valency or not the negative valency. That's why these all elements which are considered as an electric dipole. So this is the definition of dipole. But now we are supposed to calculate dipole on any point, say that at an axial point or at an equatorial point. before starting the point, I think I should discuss some sort of things here. If you remember to calculate dipole in your 12th class, there was a chapter saying the electrostatics. So the first chapter, the very first chapter or the very first unit there, and for that very first chapter you see something that is saying as some sort of electric dipole there, and the torque, if you remember, for the torque saying tau is equals to P into E there. Yes, this is the torque. Well, in this torque example we used P, which is the dipole moment, and E, which is the electric field there. Yes, we have two things there, which is the P and E, and now we will enhance our knowledge saying that we will have an electric dipole there. Let's say this is an electric dipole, say this is the AB, which has two equal and opposite charge separated. Let's say this is a minus q at this end and plus q at this end, and let's say it has a length of r, and we will assume a point here. Let's say this is point P, and we will calculate the electric field just because of this electric dipole at the point P. Well, I think this is enough for this lecture. We will continue our this example for our next video. So thank you very much for watching the videos till here, and thank you very much again for supporting us, for your love and support, and show us your support. If you hadn't subscribed the channel yet, then please go and subscribe the channel and press the bell icon, and please like this video and share this video very much more to your friends, and watch this video continuously. So thanks again for all the viewers, and this is the Mehta PG College online study portal signing off. Have a great day ahead and a happy learning.